Yes, sir.
All right, everyone, it is 7:32. It's September 8th, 2020. This is the first official Borough Council meeting of September. It's the second Tuesday of the month. Thank you all for joining. This meeting is called to order. I would like everybody to please join me in pledging the flag, and we will stay seated for this just due to the circumstances with Zoom. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States
of America, and to the
republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Angela, roll call, please.
Corey Scott.
Here.
James B.
Here.
Randy Bennett.
Here.
Megan Nolan.
Here.
Diane Gundrum.
Here.
Tony Heil.
Here.
Kyle Shank.
Here. Thank you, Angela. And folks, for the record, we did have an executive session that went from 7 p.m. up until just 7:32. We discussed some matters, potential litigation and personnel issues. Mr. Truman.
Thank you very much, President Schenk. Good evening, everybody. First up, for council consideration, adoption of council meeting minutes for the August 18th, 2020 meeting.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
All right. I think I heard, I don't have everybody on my screen because I have a small laptop here. I think I heard Mr. Scott and Ms. Nolan. Is that right?
Close enough.
Close enough. Motion made by Mr. Scott, second by Ms. Nolan to approve the council meeting minutes. Do we have any additional questions from council? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. That passes unanimously. Thank you.
Very good. Next up for council consideration, a motion to appoint Nicholas Biscotti to the Bridgeport Auxiliary Police. With that, I will turn it over to Chief Beretta, and I will note that Mr. Biscotti has already been sworn in via oath by Mayor Barbie last Thursday evening. So this is merely the appointment process on the agenda for consideration tonight.
Well, Mr. Biscotti has been in the fire service and has joined the Bridgeport Fire Company, and every volunteer that we get is an important addition to Bridgeport. So I'm hopeful that he will add significant value to our ability to assist the police department and the fire department when we have times of trouble, shutting down roadways in the middle of the night, etc. So I want to thank Captain Doug Ziegler of our Bridgeport Fire Police for bringing in a new recruit. So many welcomes to Mr. Biscotti for his assistance to the Borough of Bridgeport.
I think we're looking for a motion to make that appointment.
I'll make that motion.
I think I heard Ms. Nolan make a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
And I heard Mr. Scott second. Do we have any additional questions or comments from council? I would just like to say thank you to Mr. Biscotti. I agreed with Chief. Any volunteers we get for any of our emergency services are greatly appreciated by the community. So if there are no other comments, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Hearing none, that passes unanimously. Congratulations.
Very good. Congratulations again, Mr. Biscotti, wherever you are tonight. Next up for council consideration, a motion to correct approved plan subdivision filing error, 208 to 210 Holstein Street. Members of council, in your packets, you will find a memorandum from Solicitor Bellows' office outlining the history of this property. Effectively, in a brief nutshell, this property went through subdivision back in the 80s, I believe in the 85 to 87 range. For whatever reason, it was never properly recorded with the county. Mr. DePaul, the property owner, is looking to just do some personal housekeeping in terms of tending to some affairs, and he came upon this discovery many years later, which triggered a conversation between Mr. DePaul's attorney and our legal representation, and we believe that we have come to an amicable resolution, and therefore we administration and the solicitor are recommending to council that we consider this motion to correct the subdivision filing error for 208-210 Holstein.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion made by Mr. Heil, seconded by Mr. Fee, I believe that was. Do we have any additional questions from council regarding the motion to correct the approved plan subdivision for 210 Holstein Street? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. That passes unanimously. Thank you.
Very good. Next, for council consideration, the appointment of Saba Al-Zaid to the Sustainability Advisory Board.
I will make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Nolan, I believe second by Ms. Gundrum, to appoint Saba Al-Zaid to the Sustainability Advisory Board. Do we have any additional questions from council? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. That passes unanimously. Thank you and congratulations, Ms. Al-Zaid.
All right, thank you very much. Next up for council consideration, adoption of ordinance 2020-002, issuance of general obligation note in the amount of $266,000. Members of council, just as a refresher to not only yourselves but the audience, this $266,000 borrowing is being done for the express purpose of purchasing a 2019 Ravo street sweeper for the borough streets and sewers departments.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Heil, seconded by Mr. Scott, to adopt ordinance 2020-002 to issue the general obligation note for the street sweeper in the amount of $266,000. Do we have any additional questions from council? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up for council consideration, adoption of ordinance 2020-003, appointing Portnoy Associates as solicitor responsible for unpaid claims on delinquent accounts.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Heil, seconded by Mr. Scott, to adopt ordinance 2020-003, appointing Portnoy Associates as solicitor for unpaid delinquent accounts for the borough. Do we have any additional comments from council? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Next up for council consideration, authorization of annual donation to the Montgomery County Norristown Public Library. Members of council, in your packets, you should have had a request letter, the annual request letter from Kathleen Arnold-Yerger, who's the executive director of the Montco Norristown Public Library. Bridgeport Borough generally provides a $500 donation to the library organization annually, and we usually do it this first meeting in September.
And Mr. Chairman, the letter says requesting the $500, also mentions $500 for next year, but we're just approving $500 for this year at this point, right?
That is correct, Mr. Heil. Generally, the letter requests the donation and then makes the, because it is budget time, makes the request for us to consider moving forward with that appropriation again next year in our budget development.
I'll make a motion to approve the donation.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Heil, seconded by Ms. Nolan, I believe, approving the donation. Any additional comments from council? One thing to point out, and Mr. Truman, you might be able to correct me. I know the question comes up pretty often about Bridgeport Borough and its association with the Norristown Library versus Upper Merion. My understanding is because as a municipality, we do not have an official branch of the county library system in the borough. We default to Norristown in the county seat. So that is why these monies go to Norristown Library. However, obviously, as everybody knows, the Upper Merion Library does allow Bridgeport residents to use their services all the time. So that's very generous of them. But the reason that we do donate money to the Norristown branch is that is our home branch due to the way that the county library system has things set up.
Correct on both fronts, President Schenk. That is, we are default jurisdiction under Norristown, and Upper Merion's library also does permit Bridgeport residents. So we have the best of both worlds.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments on that? Hearing none, then all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And that passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you all. And next for council consideration would be, as it is stated, as it was written on the agenda, was Resolution 20-22, authorizing the mayor to seek outside counsel. However, I think that, and Solicitor Peters, if you could opine, is there a need to table the consideration of this resolution in lieu of the manner in which we're actually going to proceed?
No, not this time. We're fine doing an oral sort of resolution, giving the approval and permission to seek out counsel first.
Understood. So no need to table the one. No need to vote on the table. We can merely move forward with a verbal.
And before we do that, Paul, would you mind just a quick explanation of the borough code here that this is in reference to and why we're moving forward with this in the manner that we are?
Absolutely. So under the Borough Code section 117B, the legislature put in a provision there that in the event a conflict arises between the council and the borough mayor is permitted to seek outside counsel, and the borough may reimburse that counsel up to $4,000 in a calendar year. And the reason that's there is that as a solicitor's office, we represent Bridgeport. And in doing that, we will provide legal services for council members, the mayor, the police, anyone involved with carrying on the functions of the borough. However, if council and the mayor end up in a conflict, the solicitor's office then defaults to providing representation for council, because council is the main governing body of the borough. Therefore, we have a conflict of interest legally to provide any representation to the mayor, and that's why this provision was there. At this point, council and the mayor have identified a confidential conflict of a personnel nature, and that is what we have discussed triggers this section of the Borough Code to provide the mayor permission to identify the council he would like to engage, for him or her to submit a fee agreement for council and the solicitor's office review, and then at a later date, we would have a resolution approving and appointing that council.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Peters. With that said, I think we're just looking for a motion to authorize the mayor to seek outside counsel as per the explanation that Mr. Peters just provided.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion made by Ms. Gundrum, seconded by Ms. Nolan, authorizing the mayor to seek outside counsel. Do we have any additional questions or comments on the matter? Hearing none, then all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passes unanimously. Thanks.
Very good. Next up, unfinished business. Are there any members of council with unfinished business for this evening's meeting? All right, seeing none, we can proceed to committee reports. Are there any committee reports for tonight's meeting?
I just want to make an announcement that Thursday we are having a sustainability advisory committee meeting at 7 o'clock. It is going to be held via Zoom this month. I believe that the meeting request code or link is shared on the borough's Facebook page. And I also shared it on the Sustainability Advisory Committee Facebook page as well. But if you're members of the public are always welcome to come to our meetings, and that also includes our Zoom meetings, just pre-registered, and I look forward to seeing you on Thursday.
Thank you, Ms. Nolan. Seeing no other committee reports, we can proceed to the mayor's report. Mayor Barbie.
Good evening. I know a meeting or two ago, the 5K committee announced there wasn't going to be a 5K this year, of course, in lieu of the COVID. So I wanted to make an announcement for Jared Crosdale and Caitlin Lutz, who are the fastest man and woman in Bridgeport. Until we can get you guys in a meeting, congratulations. I also wanted to ask council to consider repealing Chapter 535, Article 8. This is the ordinance that prohibits skateboarding in the borough. And I think that with the discussions about bike lanes on Ford Street, I think it might be worth looking at legalizing skateboarding, or in the alternative, limiting the activities surrounding skateboarding, maybe prohibiting the tricks and skateboarding in particularly hazardous areas like on borough equipment and public statures. I'll send you an email with a little bit more, but I wanted you all to take that under consideration. And that concludes my report for tonight.
I'll opine on the skateboarding. I think that I have had residents mention this before, and I don't know what the right rule would be. So I wouldn't necessarily be in favor of blanket allotment, which is not what you're asking for. But I think that your suggestion of looking into it and seeing what the restrictions could and should be that are fair to all parties sounds fair and something that would be worth looking into. So I don't know if other municipalities have regulations that we could adopt or adapt. Something I do think that's something that's worth exploring.
I think that needs to be a wide discussion. I regularly, just tonight before this meeting started, watched at least 5 young kids under 8 years old come down Mill Street. I watch it every night, all night long, down 5th Street, down Mill Street, into traffic. I personally, myself, went off my porch and yelled at 4 kids tonight to get out of the road. It's not a skate park. The borough's not a skate park. It's the classic slippery slope. The guys who want to ride their skateboards in the borough are going to do it anyway, no matter what the laws say or what the rules say. No one's stopping them now. No, there's no threat that they're going to be stopped or said anything to. And advocating for that to continue is just advocating for something that's already happening and saying, and we think it's great. Just a bad idea on my part. Everything's worth a discussion, but just up front, I don't think there's anything good down that road.
Well,
I think
to that point, Councilman Bennett, I agree. I mean, I walk down your street anytime I go to Wawa or to the Borough Council building, so I know exactly. I probably can point to some of the same people that you could. So I sympathize with what you're saying. But maybe if we can clarify our language, we can direct people to where they could safely do it. And again, ages matter too. So, I have a 6-year-old, and I see kids who, you're right, they're 8, they might be younger, that are doing things that are not safe. And so limiting and having that codified in a way that we can address and apply more fairly might end up making it safer. So I'm not saying what that should be, but I think it's worth looking into to bolster your argument, not say your own.
Very good. All right. Thank you, Mayor Barbie. Moving forward to the Chief's report. Chief Beretta. Chief, you're on mute. Here, I got you. There you go.
Can everyone hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. So our new car, 54-4, the Ford hybrid electric SUV is in service. It was upfitted. They did a nice job on it. You'll see it around town. Some of the officers have kind of remarked a couple times because they think the car's off because it's in electric mode sometimes, so you're not hearing the engine. So it's the slow, steady pace of progression with in Bridgeport in our police vehicles. On a significant note, there's been fentanyl-laced heroin that have hit the streets in Montgomery County. We've had drug-related overdose recently. We've had fatal drug-related overdose, and we've had some additional drug overdoses in public places and private places. The use of a scheduled narcotic such as heroin is, of course, against the law. Those may still seek to use drugs such as that. But absent that, Angels in Motion, I've had a teleconference with Angels in Motion and Dana Meyer to talk about what we can do to help people and help curb some of this stuff besides law enforcement activities, because you have to hit this problem all around the clock. So I'll be getting together with Angels in Motions later this week, and we'll probably be putting out a public safety spot. So heroin, or people that are using drugs, have discussions with your friends and with your family. You don't have to agree with the use of the drug or not, but communication's key, and a higher degree of communication and within our community is important so that we can save lives. Every chance that we get to a call to give Noxalone to save a life gives that person another opportunity to make a better decision in the future. So again, whether we agree with the use of these things, pass it along with your friends and your family. Food security, we talk about this during these tough times. Food security, I want to thank Mom's Meals have taken on 12 Bridgeport families full-time to help some of the people that we've identified. So in advance, thank you for Mom's Meals for what they're doing with us and their help with food insecurity issues in Bridgeport during these trying times. I'd like to thank Mission Barbecue for coming by and leaving lunch about a week ago for the police officers. It's nice to be thought of. Again, thanks for Fire Policeman Biscotti, and I would say that anybody else that wishes to volunteer with the fire police or with Bridgeport Fire Company, step forward. We have an aging fire service in general in the United States, and it leads to just having some full-time assistance that's paid. Although we don't have that many, we do need people to step up. So if you want to learn and serve your community, please stop by. Talk to the fire chief, talk to Steve Wanzek, the fire marshal, talk to people over Bridgeport and Goodwill. And we should remember and thank all of those firefighters for everything that they do for us. While we're asleep, they might be actually waking up and going to a call, and they're not doing it for money. So I thank them. Traffic studies. I put to use some of our Evolus radar signs. So we're gathering information on DeKalb Street. We had some requests were on Prospect Avenue, and found that the average speed was not an issue, and the high speeds weren't an issue on Prospect. You'll see the speed signs being moved around. Some are covert and some are overt. Some you won't see and some that you will. We're doing a study on Ford Street for the next few weeks, along with enforcement. Today is our first time we got back with MIXAP enforcement, which is heavy truck details with the state police. So we're working in combination with our state police colleagues to kind of curb some of the truck traffic and the violations that occur that create damage to our streets. We've all hit those potholes and we wonder, how did it happen? A lot of times it happens over many years of heavy truck traffic. So we were out there today for about 3 hours looking for violations. The 150th anniversary of Bridgeport Police is this year. And unfortunately, because of the COVID crisis, I feel that it's probably not the best decision to gather in significant forces that would do justice to the Bridgeport Police Department. So we'll be still moving forward. We'll try to digitize interviews and photographs so that people will still be able to appreciate the work, the 150 years worth of work that the police department, led by the mayor, has done. So for some of these programs that we're used to having, whether it's National Night Out, 150th anniversary, and many others, we'll probably be curtailing this so that we fall in line with the governor's edicts. So that's an unfortunate circumstance. That's all I have for you this evening. Please stay well. Whether you agree or not, use social distancing, mask up. The lives that you help save may just be, whether or not it's you, it might help another family member that's unsuspecting, that might be have some health issues or be elderly. So we're not out of this yet. Positive things are coming, but let's stick to the path and mask up. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chief Beretta. Moving forward to new business. Are there any members of council with new business this evening? All right. Seeing none, we can proceed to public comment. And President Schenk, I will note that I actually just rechecked the public comment line or inbox rather. We have no public comment for the record this evening, sir.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Truman.
So if it were to please council, you could certainly entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
I would love to entertain a motion to adjourn. It is 8:01. And before we do officially adjourn, everybody out there, as the chief said, please stay safe. Please practice all the recommended practices from the public health departments. And we do hope to see you soon. We are going to get back in Borough Hall as soon as it is safe and compliant. So folks, 8:01, talk to you soon. Meeting is adjourned. Thanks.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Night.